Are you wondering what Faire is going to build this year on the platform for brands? Well, look no further. Max Rhodes from Faire has just released his new letter on what he's planning on doing across their business and what it means for you as a brand. In this video, we're going to jump right into that. So to start off with, I like his quote there of, "We know our work isn't even close to done." I think that's a really good way to kind of paint the context of where we are coming out of 2025 into 2026. 2025 was messy to say the least. Obviously, huge trade policy changes around the world, in particular affecting the USA. A lot of marketplace pressure around just continued growth in competition on the platform, and then the uncertainty that brings with it. However, there was a lot of green shoots for growth, and we continue to see this across all of our clients. Almost 3 million new brand retailer relationships were created in 2025. That is huge. Retailer reorder rates were increasing, up 15% year on year. The number one thing that we're seeing Faire continue to focus on is brand share of wallet, or their retailer share of wallet, I should say in particular. And that's as a percentage of a retailer spend, how much is going towards Faire and then other marketplace platforms and their direct business that they will have already been doing. And so what Faire's trying to do is they're not just trying to beat other marketplaces, they're trying to take over all B2B e-commerce as a percentage of a retailer's purchases. That is what they're going to continue to do, and this letter really is just an expansion of that. To make this real, the way I like to think about it is, if you've ever been in retail as a brand, one day you are nailing the best boutique on the West Coast in Southern California, and then the next week maybe you're not getting as many sales as you thought you would, and then the week after you've just landed Walmart. So everything that they're trying to do is trying to make Faire more consistent, more repeatable, and easier for brands to do. That's pretty much the highlights of the letter. So a quick clarification, Faire actually publishes 2 CEO letters, one to brands and one to retailers. I'm going to do a video as well on the retailer letter. It's actually got some really interesting thing in there around 90-day terms, in particular around Faire Pay. So I'll cover that in a separate video, but this is just focused on the letter that Max wrote to brands this year. Internally, what we're hearing is that it's not just that the letters are different, but actually that the focus from a Faire perspective internally is that this is the year for brands. Previously, it's been a year for retailers or a year for the company, but this year they're focusing on a year for brands. And so what does that mean? Well, they're not going to try and massively increase costs, although there are some areas that they're going to be doing that. They are focusing on it internally, and I'm hearing this from all of our brand success managers as well. So what does the letter have in it? Well, we like to kind of really structure this around just a standard marketing flow. How do we get 1, people in? 2, how do we get them coming back? And then 3, how do we make it super easy operationally for everything to work in the back end? Everything else is just kind of fuzz around those 3 words. So before Max gets into kind of the crux of 2026 and what they're building in 2025, and really kind of already in 2026, a couple of key takeaways that they're continuing to build out. The messaging tab is expanding, and it's becoming easier to identify the right people to message. And that's kind of their CRM improvements. They're really rolling out AI as much as they possibly can across the business, not just actually for retailer and brands, but also in the back end to help Faire continue to make it easier for businesses to build and sell products. They continue to give you more advertising data. So some of our brands are on advertising betas at the moment, which really give you a better insight into what do your sales look like over time, reorder percentages, new order customers, impressions, conversions, and what does that look like on an expected first year ROAS. And they're just trying to give you a bit more granularity. They haven't changed anything there outside of just being able to see a bit more. Still pretty much the only thing you can do at the moment is change your budget levels, and then obviously continue to optimize the platform as you would do per normal. The way that we think about ads, for example, on Faire is that is just fuel to the fire. If that fire is a great bonfire, which is amazing and doing really well, versus if that's a small fire not doing too well, it's obviously going to help, but you want to be the big bonfire in the first instance, so that you're continuing to build an amazing business just by adding fuel to that fire from ads. The other part is 2025 was the year of tariffs. Obviously, tariffs are starting to change this year. That doesn't mean that they're going to try and improve the cross-border duty estimates. And what you can see is when a retailer is checking out, they're getting really clear views on what the estimated customs duties will be on each product. That's going to be based off your HS code. So guys, if you're not updating your HS codes, this is your sign to do that. So finding the right buyers does take too long currently, and Faire isn't admitting that, but there's always ways to improve it. So what they're evolving is AI-powered search. So retailers can use natural language. So the way that they kind of describe it is, you might be typing in soy candle gifts or everyday baby gifts that feel special. Things that can resonate easily with someone searching, and that's just trying to capture that long tail of keywords. We've been saying this for a while, guys. Make sure your SEO is optimized to be human readable as well as machine readable. The reason why human readable is because the AI is going to continue to focus on that human readable section as well as the AI readable section. So the way that we like to think about it is go human readable to begin with, and then the AI readable stuff at the end. And the AI readable is more kind of like, how do you get the exact matches so you help the AI precisely know exactly what that product is. The more words you use here, the better. Then this is really a big one. There is high intent leads. So retailers who have shown strong interest in the past but haven't ordered yet have not previously been able to be messaged, and that is changing this year, which is really good to see. If you are a proactive business, this is the place for you to start messaging people. Lots of add to carts, that type of thing is now going to be unlocked for you, which is going to be an absolute game changer. One of the ways that I think some brands will consider this is from the privacy aspect. The way that we think about it is like your email inbox. If you've got a lot of people in your email inbox, you're probably going to be deleting those emails on an ongoing basis. However, email outreach does still work. So it will be like that for messages as well. You're going to get a lot of inbound. You're not going to be annoying. People won't really care too much about it. Do you view Nike for sending you a new email every 2 days, every 3 days? Probably not. It's still Nike. You'd still love their products, and your products are probably going to be no different. So do not let being scared of advertising scare you from advertising. The other section that is, I'm going to be doing another video on, is that the wholesale advertising is expanding to Europe. It's just kind of one of the sections hidden a little bit on the presentation and the letter from Max, but ads are coming to Europe. That was just a matter of time. So this year is the time to do it. If you don't know what to do, guys, and you've got a European brand, well then send us an email. We'd love to have a chat with you. The long and the short of it is set the maximum budget to $20,000 if that's what they keep. For Europe, maybe it's 20,000 euros or pounds, but that's what we're going to be recommending straight out the gate so that you can hit it fast and you can be really, for that category, showing Faire that you have the most intent to spend and that you have the ability to soak up the extra demand that Faire will be pushing your way. The second part was around reorders. So obviously reorders are just as important, I think way more important than new customers. The way that we always think about it is if you get someone in to begin with, just on a first order, small first order sale, let's say it's $250, Faire makes 15% on that. The only problem is that that's nothing compared to typically what a reordered product will generate. So let's say across all of our clients, we have an average order value around $250, but they end at the end of 12 months at $3,200. And so you really want to be pushing those reorder rates, because Faire's going to would much rather take a clip of 15% on 3,200 than they would on $250. So you just need to get people in and get them coming back. And Faire is really clearly identifying this, or Max is identifying this. So that's what we're thinking about, Faire's P&L as well as your brand P&L, and the two are going to work in tandem. On the left-hand side, we've just got a lovely merchandising Valentine's Day 2026 tip that we did for one of our clients. You need to be pushing those seasonal promotions for your clients. Obviously, the targeted outreach is going to help, but if you're not focusing on the right things in that targeted outreach, it won't resonate. Great way to do that is through amazing design. The promotions, they're going to be more targeted. Not sure exactly what that looks like just yet, and they're going to make it much easier for you to connect your inventory accounts and then set out seasonal reminders as well to your retailers from your brand's account, which is going to be super interesting. The long and the short of it is get those people in and get them coming back. Their third focus for 2026 is all around operations, whatever pulls you away from the day-to-day. And so Faire's plan around this is a couple-fold, but there will be a lot more. And knowing what they've written in their Faire retailer as well, I'll bring a little bit into that conversation here. So let's just look at the Faire retailer to begin with. Retailers, when they're purchasing on Faire, have a significant amount of rework that they need to do on listings, on photography, barcodes, SKUs, GTINs, etc. in the back end for that to then plug into their point of sale system. So everything that you can do to make sure all of the data that you have in Faire is accurate and is all completed, so that when it's ported across to the retailer's point of sale system is going to be super important. So things like make sure you've got your GTIN in, and that means because when you've got a retailer, they've got a point of sale system supported by Shopify, for example, they import your barcode. They actually don't, all they have to do is unbox your product, put it on the shelves, scan it, and they'll instantly get the right prices straight away. So that's going to be great for you. They're talking a lot about that on the retailer side. Obviously, it's not going to be super easy for you to do that as a brand, but if you just do it once, it'll pay dividends forever. Let's get back to the brand side of operations. So on Faire Direct, they are continuing to make the integration easier for you to import it into your website, the Faire Direct links. We like this for most brands. If you're a small brand, I just recommend starting on Faire. If you are a bigger brand, you're probably going to have your own direct wholesale as well as wholesale that's focused on Faire. We put them side by side. There are people that will want to come to you directly. There are people that will want to come to you on Faire, and it's great to give them both options. Just listen to what your retailers is. Obviously, Faire makes it incredibly easy operationally. So that's how we're recommending it at the moment, and they're going to continue to build out that widget. Second is around catalog management. So in particular, they've released the AI on product listings. It's not amazing yet, guys, but it does help you get started. There's a lot more that you can write. Make sure you're using all 3,000 characters. Make sure that it clearly describes exactly what your product is. Don't go too crazy trying to hunt for, long tail keywords or even those kind of big tail keywords. So like, if you've not a sock product, don't put socks on there, guys. I see this too often. I know socks are a great gifting product, as you can imagine from our business at Bare Kind. However, it's not going to drive the right traffic. And whenever that traffic comes to you, it's just going to bounce straight back and your conversion rate is going to decrease. And then Faire is going to start penalizing you as a result of that. That integration and the product listing creation is only going to get easier. The third part is around fulfillment. So they are trialing Fulfilled by Faire. The way that looks like on a retailer side is source with Faire. And essentially it's reducing the minimum order quantity. It's amalgamating a bunch of brands. We've got a couple of brands in that pilot and it is amazing. The moment you guys get an opportunity to get into it, please do sign up. What it's doing is it's really materially reducing the fulfillment costs for brands, which means that you're going to be much more likely to be in Faire Insider. At the moment, they're guaranteeing Insider for any product that they bring into the pilot. Don't know if that will come out of the post-pilot, but let's see. And it's an incredible opportunity for you as a brand if you can get into it. So have a look at Fulfillment by Faire. If you've got the opportunity to get into it, try it. You're probably large enough that you'll have multiple stock positions, but that's one for you guys to approach. If you get approached about that, happy to have a chat with you guys. Just reach out and we can talk about what it might mean for your brand and if it's something that you should do. So big picture, what is Faire really signaling for brands in 2026? Well, better discovery, better reorders, less operational drag. If you're a brand on Faire or you're considering it, this is the year to treat wholesale exactly like the real e-commerce channel that it is. System you can optimize, it's not a side project, you're going to make a significant amount of money. So many brands are in that space. Obviously, if you want help building those assets and the system around it, then that's exactly what we do. Everything from product pages that convert, seasonal merchandising, our outreach flows, Faire Direct, pushing that, trying to build it as much as possible, then that's what we do at Candid Founders end to end. So that you don't have to look at anything on your Faire platform other than customer service. So if this video was useful, of course, please hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Which of these three is your biggest pain points? I'd love to know. Discovery, reorder, or is it ops? I don't know. Have a great day. See you guys in the next video.